Nothing in this world is bogging you down more than dead weight. No, it's not time to change up your diet and I gotta do this and I gotta do that. I gotta change that. Sometimes the biggest thing we need to do is acknowledge the things that we're afraid of acknowledging, the parts of ourselves that we're ashamed of, the parts of ourselves that we've become of whatever it is that we've gone through. So for example, we all have this invisible sack of shit, okay, that is attached to us by the hip. We refuse to acknowledge it. It's embarrassing. It makes us feel shame. It makes us upset. But it is so instrumental in us releasing that so that way we can start to have space for the things that are supposed to occupy themselves in our life. For example, like becoming our best selves or having those relationships that we want to have, being the father, the mother, the wife, the husband that we want to be. But if we're committed to ignoring the parts of us that aren't the best, we're also committing ourselves to staying that way and not being able to change it. Because one thing we know for sure is it's yours, okay? It's attached to you. But what makes it very tricky and what makes it so hard to release is because if we don't accept it, then we can't let it go, right? If you give me a gift right now and I hold it, I've accepted it. Here's my gift, here's my thing, thank you so much, but it's mine. But if I act like it doesn't exist, but yet it's attached to me by some invisible string, and then I'm wondering why I'm feeling fatigued. I'm wondering why I'm still stressed about certain things or why I can't get certain things done, why I can't move forward in my life like I want to. There's some sort of trauma there. There's something that I'm not addressing that is calling and begging and screaming for my attention. Right? And when we let those little subtle whispers like release this, accept that, forgive this, let that go. When we let those whispers turn into screams, that's when we have problems. So this video is all about cutting off the sack of shit that is attached to our hip, right? But we have to accept it first before we can let it go. And by that, I mean, a lot of times are the things that we're not wanting to accept are the things of ourselves that we're ashamed of. Maybe it's true that you are not the best spouse, or you're not the best this, or you're not the best that. Maybe your business isn't taking off. Acknowledge it. Just say it. I'm not great at this, or I have to get better. Don't ignore it, because then you give it space to fester. Admit to yourself that you also lended to whatever abusive relationship you were in, whether it was mental, spiritual, emotional, physical. And it's not to say that it's your fault, but it is to say that you played a part. Because to act like those things don't exist is to also deprive ourselves of the actual solution, which is to let it go. But I can't let go what I don't accept. This video is all about acceptance. There's so much power in it. It's not to say that when you accept something or you accept a part of yourself that you're ashamed of, that, oh my God, now I'm plagued with this forever. You know, my name is Alyssa and I'm a terrible friend. I don't always have to be a terrible friend, but I can at least acknowledge that. So at that point, the power is now mine. Because if I act like this is not something that is siphoning my energy away from me, then I'm always going to be indebted to the things that I don't want to continue to thrive. It has to get cut off. But in order to let things go, you have to accept it first. And I honestly came to this whole little realization when I was on my walk today. Because there's certain parts of myself, certain things that I'm trying to grow and evolve and let go and release. But I'm like, damn, I think I'm doing a good job. I think I'm pretty introspective enough to let go and release certain things, the lack of forgiveness or shame, parts of myself that I'm not proud of, parts of myself that I want to change. But I also realized, like, I have a problem, guys. Like, I have a problem accepting the fact that I'm just not good at certain things, or I need more time, or I'm just outright in denial about certain things about myself. And it's that is the work. That is the work in accepting that. It's not, I had to tell myself, so like, what are you saying? So for example, what I was thinking about was my YouTube channel, right? So you guys see my channel and it does okay. Like I got, my big hit or whatever. And then after that video, things kind of dwindled down, which is fine. It goes up and down. I'm built for that. But then a part of me ignored it. Like I haven't posted in a while. And I'm like, wait, why aren't you posting, Alyssa? What the hell is going on? You had a whole rhythm, keep posting. But I think part of myself didn't want to acknowledge that, well, I don't always know what I want to talk about. And I don't always know exactly the aim of the channel. So I'd rather ignore it. I'd rather not admit those things to myself because it hurts or it bothers me or I feel maybe some level of shame or some level of not good enoughness. right? But it's like, if I allow those feelings to kind of just fester and take over me, then I'm going to keep not posting, and then I'm going to keep not living in my truth. But the minute that I say, like, you know what? Yeah, that is true. Maybe you do need to get better at creating or your craft, or you need to get better at consistency. That's when I take ownership and I accept this as mine. This is mine. And the only time when something's yours is when you can release it. So if I choose to act like, oh, here's this mythical world that this exists, but I'm not a part of it, that's when you're kidding yourself. So if you're having a hard time on this self-actualization journey or this self-fulfillment journey, understand that a lot of what's going on is something that you might not be aware of. It's what's going on below the surface. I think we like to think that we're a lot more honest with ourselves than we are. And me personally, as one human to another, I'd like to think I'm very honest with myself. I'd like to think I'm more honest than the average person. But I think that I can get better at that. And I may not be as honest with myself as I think I'm being. And I think, we can lie to the world, or we can put on a facade. We can put on some sort of veil for people to think that we're macho and we're feeling good and we're this and we're that. But when we go home and you're not feeling satiated by life, or you're feeling unfulfilled, or you're dealing with anxiety or depression or sadness and unforgiveness and bitterness, and you're hardened, those are feelings, and those are things that you've allowed to kind of fester without you realizing it, because there's just certain things you won't face. And it's not saying that when you face these feelings, or when you face these feelings of lack or sadness or grief or whatever it is that you go through when no one else is looking, it's not saying that, oh, now this is who I am. I'm this way. I'm a sad person. I shouldn't be forgiven. I'll accept this about myself. I'll accept that. Now what? It's not that. I think it's a much more freeing feeling than we really understand, because we don't practice that enough. We don't practice enough sitting with our shame and just kind of letting it run. We don't practice that enough. We wallow in feeling shameful, but we don't really sit in the things that make us feel shame. There's a difference. So I think if we allow ourselves to really kind of sit and take ownership of that moment, it's like, okay, I'm noticing this feeling. It doesn't feel good. I feel it here in my body. I feel it here in my heart. I feel it in my stomach. I feel things tightening up. I feel it really affecting me. But let me kind of work through it. Let me kind of see what's going on here. And then after I do that, I'm going to let it go. Just like they teach us in meditation, right? Like when those thoughts come up, meditation is not about trying to forget or push that thought down. I don't want to think about that. It's not about that, right? It's all about allowing yourself to just be. Witness. You are a witness. You are now an observer. You are now separate from who and what you are. This entity, you become separate from it, because now you're looking at it from a higher perspective, which allows you to put distance, right? The word of the day is distance between your feelings, your thoughts, and yourself. You are not your feelings and you are not your thoughts. However, when we sit and we attach ourselves to the things that have traumatized us, caused us shame, now we become the thing that is shameful. So now I'm ashamed of myself. Now I'm someone who can't forgive, because you became a feeling that was simply supposed to be a feeling or a thought, and then pop, go away. But so many of us become our thoughts. So many of us become our shame. Shame is something we're supposed to feel. Right? It's something that we're supposed to, if we weren't supposed to feel it, why does it exist? Right? But it's also something that we shouldn't really hold on to and actually become. And I think so many of us are under the false pretense that our feelings are us, or that our thoughts are us. The more we distance ourselves from our thoughts and our feelings and separate ourselves from that, the freer we'll be. So if you still feel these feelings of shame, sadness, or when you're by yourself, I'm just talking about when you're by yourself. I don't care who you present to the world, right? We can all make that up. We can all kind of play with whoever we want the world to perceive us as. But we know the real version of us is only comes alive at night, when we're by ourselves or potentially laying next to our partners or whatever the case is, and we have a minute to be quiet with our own brain. And you get to choose whether that's a space that you want to continue to occupy, whether you've created a sound space for you to grow and for you to explore and release, or it could also be hell. It could also be prison. But a lot of times it's because it's something that we haven't released, and we can't release what's not ours. How am I going to let go of something if I don't already have it in my possession? Or let's say I have it in my possession, but I'm not acknowledging it. So I could literally be holding on to something. It's mine, but I'm not acknowledging it. I'm just going to pretend it's not there. Think about what that does. Think about the weight of that. right? Like if I hold a cup for 2 seconds, it's not heavy. But if I hold it for 3 years, it's going to become, my arm will become stiff. I will lose control over some of my faculties. So think about how that affects you on a physiological level, a mental level, an emotional level, a spiritual level, when we hold on to things that are not prospering us, all because of shame. That is an emotion that we are meant to confront. You have to confront yourself. Because if you don't confront yourself, you will always, always, always be locked into whatever it is you used to be, how you used to act, or whatever happened to you will always be your story. And if we want to rewrite our story, if we want to change the narrative, we have to accept these things about us. So one of the biggest things that I'm still learning about acceptance is forgiveness, right? Forgiveness. Remember, forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness or lack of forgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die from it. That doesn't happen. You're going to get sick. You drank the poison. So when you don't forgive something, you allow it to fester in your body, in your mind. You become that. You become bitter. You become hard. You become angry. You become more shameful because of what you're not letting go. So sometimes it's not even so much about forgiving other people. When's the last time you forgave yourself for not going after what you wanted to? For missing that opportunity that you felt like you had once in a lifetime? When's the last time you forgave yourself for potentially getting overweight and now you feel like you're stuck or you're imprisoned in a body that doesn't support you or that doesn't love you back? In what ways are you exercising forgiveness and acceptance for yourself? Because you have to meet yourself where you are in order to have that level of change. Right? I'm not going to look at a 6-month-old newborn baby crazy because I tried to feed him a steak. He has no teeth. I have to meet that child where they are and give it milk, give it breast milk. That's what it needs. That's what it's designed for. So why is it when it comes to you, you don't meet yourself where you are? All of a sudden, there's no grace for you. You don't extend that. You're not worth that. You hold yourself to some standard that you have not been able to meet. Bring it down. And it's not like, oh, I can't meet a higher standard, or damn, like I'm so just childish, or I'm so this, or I'm so that. That's okay. But the only way growth happens if you meet yourself where you are. So if you continue to act like I'm an adult and I should be above these kinds of issues I have, I shouldn't be dealing with this, so therefore I'm not going to acknowledge it. That's childish, right? That's immature. Actually, it's not childish because children don't even do that. But that's immature. We have to evolve out of that space of feeling like I should be somewhere. The shoulda, coulda, woulda will be the death of us. That's always going to make us, that's never going to make us feel good. So if we're constantly engaging in dialogue with ourselves that makes us feel like we're behind the 8 ball, because most of us, let's just be clear, we're not where we want to be. We're not doing the things that we dreamt we'd do when we were 5, 6, 10, 12, 13. Most of us aren't doing that. And if you are, that is a blessing. But most of us aren't. So most of us are living a life that we didn't plan on living, or 2, that we don't even like that we're living because we didn't get to really curate this. It kind of just happened, right? One thing about life is it's just going to happen. Like it doesn't matter whether you wanted it to happen or not. It's just happening to you sometimes. And to not give ourselves the grace of like dialing it back a little bit and saying, you know what? There's parts of me that I'm upset with because my life didn't turn out how I thought it would. I hurt myself in this way, or I hurt this person in this way, and I'm still harboring that. And so many of us, because one thing about the human experience is that I personally, let me know down below, I feel like the human experience is so similar. We're not that different. We look different, we speak different, we're from different places, but we all kind of deal with the same levels of grief and anguish. And I think if we start to dig deeper into ourselves, we'll understand people better. Therefore, we'll be able to extend grace. We'll be able to extend a little bit more mercy toward other people. But the only way we can get to that point is if we're first that way with ourselves. Because the relationship we have with other people's is just the relationship that we have with ourselves externalized. So if we don't honor that, oh, my light went out. Okay, we're good. But if we don't honor that, we're going to constantly be in a place where we don't ever realize our full potential. And you deserve the fullness of you, and so do the people that you love. And that starts with acknowledging the shame. Acknowledge the poor parts. You don't have to tell me. You can write it down in a journal. You can sit in your car. There's certain things that I remember I used to love watching Iyanla fix my life. And certain people who were so deeply traumatized, they wouldn't even be able to vocalize it. They couldn't even say it. They couldn't even say what they did or say what happened to them. And I personally think that there's power in being able to say it, because it's almost like accepting what happened or accepting what you did. Just say it. Just be vocal about it. Talk about it. Accept it. It just is. You don't have to change it. You don't have to judge it. You don't have to try and come up with a master plan to fix it. We're not doing any of that. We're just simply putting all of our stuff on the table. So like I said, the sack of shit that's attached to all of our hips, because we all have our own nonsense that we walk around with that we choose to ignore, but we know it's weighty. I want you to take that off your hip and I want you to put it on the table. Put it on the table and just look at it and don't judge it. Just look at it and just, it's not going to bite you. It's not going to do anything to you. Just acknowledge it, that that's yours. And once you acknowledge that this is a little bit of who you've become, pick it up. And then over time, you can learn how to release it and let it go. But if you act like it's not there, it just festers, just like cancer. If I ignore the fact that you've just been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and I act like it's not there, you're not going to be around for too long. Right? So we kind of do the same thing, and that energy, and it gets harbored and stuck inside of us. And then we become sick, mentally sick, emotionally, spiritually, even physically. These things manifest themselves as diseases when we hold on. And us, especially as melanated people, as Black people, we can't afford to hold on to any extra shit, right? Like, we already have so much that we deal with going on just living here, just living as a Black person. So to add insult to injury, we can't do that. We can't afford that. Our mental health can't withstand that. There's no virtue in being able to lug a bunch of crap on your back for your whole life. So I want us to really think about that and really think about the shame that we carry and release it, because it's not meant to stay. It's not meant to stay. And my lights have gone out, but you know what? I'm going to still keep on talking, because at the end of the day, this message needs to come through. Sorry for all that. But at the end of the day, it's not meant to be kept. Those things are not meant to be harbored inside of your body. That's dangerous. It's dangerous for your mind. It's dangerous for every part of you. And you don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. So release it. Let it go. Or before you learn how to let it go, because I'll do another video when I really understand how to let it go, because I'm still working through that. If I'm being quite honest, I don't quite know. You accept your shit. You accept, okay, this is what I am. This is what I'm not. Okay, I accept it. But then how do you let it go, right? I just got to the point of acceptance. So I'm like, okay, that I get. But let me know down below, like, how do you let something go? How do you really let it go? I'm still figuring that out. And as that unfolds a little bit more in my mind, my body, my spirit, I'll make another video. But please do feel free to share that, because I'm working on releasing some things about myself that I've been holding on to. I put my sack of shit on the table just yesterday. And I was vocalizing things that I hadn't vocalized in a long time. I was admitting things to myself that I hadn't admitted probably ever, about some of my shortcomings, some of the things that I failed at, some of the things that I'm not proud of. And it didn't feel good, but in an odd way, I felt a little freer. All right, so I'm still trying to work through what that feeling of freeness is. I think maybe because I accepted it or something. I don't know. So I'm still figuring this out. So please, again, don't be afraid to comment. Now, I'm going to leave this video here. I just hope that this has helped somebody. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because who is going to get the message? If we're not doing that, I really need you guys' help to get the word out there. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.